Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Solid Ground on this, the 99th episode. Can't believe it, but yes, episode 99. It is wonderful to be here, even on this rather, very humid, somewhat rainy Auckland day where I am here in East Auckland, but live in the studio. Solid Ground comes to you live across a variety of platforms, and as the regulars know, if you're commenting on YouTube channel or Facebook for Family First, in other words, Family First YouTube, or its Facebook page, your comments come live to me here in the studio, and so I'm able to say everything from good morning to answer any questions and obviously comments that you have on the stories as they go through. So know that you are very welcome. And for particularly first-time viewers who are picking this up wherever at the moment, even on Blue Sky or Threads, Instagram, Substack, wherever, Solid Ground is where I discuss the political, the social, the cultural issues of the day from a solid ground of what we believe, and I believe, to be good conservative politics and ethics, but it's also a good pun on a cup of coffee, of which I have a good solid brew here this morning. I don't know why I need it. I'm feeling quite tired today, and it's only Thursday, which is ridiculous, but doing well. But look, it's lovely to have you all along. I'll say hello to a few people, then we'll get into an array of topics today. Everything from media mischief to actually hot weather, what's happening on X, and then a bit more of a discussion about why the likes of the media are being captured. So yeah, there's much to discuss if we get through it, because you know me, I tend to talk a lot. There we go. So good morning to everyone who's coming on board. Admin, it's lovely to have you along. Got Nigel there. Look, today is going well already. In fact, Bob and I have been firing texts off between each other and a whole array of stories that we're seeing at the moment. Good morning there, the Ruapehu region. Look, I hope actually, Jackie, it's all calmed down there now. I know they had some fires. I mean, it's a big region, but the fires, of course, were pretty bad. Good morning to Murray. Yes, and Murray's referencing, I might just stop there briefly. There's been a terrible fire in Hong Kong. If you've ever been there, you'll know that they have exceptionally tall buildings. Unlike New Zealand, they don't have to worry about earthquakes, but one of the housing estates, I think multiple towers, has gone up in flames, and I think of about half an hour ago when I was looking at the news, and please anyone online can correct me, but at least 80 if not more people are confirmed dead, and at least 200 plus are missing. So absolutely terrible. Wasn't something I was going to particularly talk about today for no other reason, and there's lots of stories, but I'm pleased Murray's raised it, and I think we need to keep those family, that people, that, you know, island, Hong Kong, in our prayers. I mean, this is a pretty devastating situation. Sounds like they were redoing the apartment buildings again. You've got to think these are massive, like exceptionally tall. I think one tower alone had like 2,000 apartments in it. So you can see why the scale of this thing is so large. It's absolutely dreadful. So yeah, thanks Mary for bringing that up. Good morning to Fourth Adam, formerly DD. I wondered where DD had gone last Tuesday, or the Tuesday just been, but of course you were there. Good to have you back under a new name. Good morning to Darren. Yes, it is a bit rainy. I was a bit surprised when I pulled the curtains this morning. And good morning to Lynette. Lovely to have you along. Got Michael as well. Good morning. We've got Strongham down in Mosgiel. Lovely place. And we've got the Wairarapa as well. Tikawiti, that's actually where my wife's family doesn't come from, but that's where their marae is, actually just outside of Tikawiti. Ashburton, oh, how wonderful. Oh, Harrison, we can't do anything without Harrison. Lovely to have you along. And Monkeybot's telling us that it's a perfect day in the Hawke's Bay. I'm laughing because it's absolutely true. It's an amazing part of our country. Oh, we got Otara as well. Lovely. Beautiful. I don't know if it's raining down there as well. As I said, I'm sort of Mission Bay way. I don't know about you, the Roman Uso, how different the weather can be in different parts of Auckland. But lovely to have you all along, guys. As I say, this is our... we've got Te Awamutu. We are all around the country, which is amazing. Yep. So I'm just reading that is very true, actually, of what's been said here. The farmers still get up very early, which makes me now feel completely guilty, because an early morning for me would sort of be, 5:36. I mean, a really early morning is sort of like 4 o'clock heading off to an airport. But the farmers, You guys, amazing, and actually as I keep saying, the backbone of the country. And look, thank you as well around the podcasts and everything. As I say, we've got the 100th episode coming up next Thursday. So that is amazing, because on Tuesday at this point I won't be able to do the podcast. I'm actually heading over to Australia. One of my aunties has passed away. We've got lots of uncles and aunts, but she was very close to my father, obviously, so on my father's side. So she's very close to my now late dad, and we've always stayed in touch. She's been absolutely amazing. Even came over to Rachel and my wedding all those years ago. So we're going to go and say farewell to her. And so, look, actually, I think they've got that mixed up. It's next Tuesday. It's actually Thursday I'll be away. I'm getting everything mixed up this morning, which is crazy. But anyway, the 100th episode is coming, which is brilliant. Look, I thought it was funny, and I just thought I'd put this up. Funny in the sort of annoying sense. This was a article in the Herald a couple of days ago. I put it on my socials at the time. Look, regardless of what you think of climate change, whether it's completely contributed by humans or not, or whether we can do anything or not, I just find this sort of shrill headline annoying. And that's why I just wanted to put it up. Not so much to annoy myself or you again, but it's this sensationalist reporting. As I noted on social media, I mean, who knew it, that summer was hot? Which is basically the whole premise of this news article. It goes on and on about how we're expecting to have hot weather in summer, that it will be sunny, that it will be humid, and that parts of the country could even reach 30 degrees. Now, I can't completely talk for every part of the country, but I'm sure our crew in the Hawke's Bay, Monkeybot, and others would be able to point out to you that things do get hot in summer. Here in Auckland, it's a subtropical region. Like today, it is humid. That's what we call summer. And yet, as I keep using the word shrill, this is what the media keep promoting, because they've got an agenda around the issues of climate change. As I said at the start, what you particularly think of it is not, where I'm focused today, although I will make this comment around climate change activism. It's a bit of a thin end of a wedge for a whole lot of other issues. In other words, they use climate change to sort of, act as a wedge, tip of a spear, push open the door on a wide range of issues. And so, yeah, just annoying. That's probably where I want to get. It's just annoying. And Jackie's saying it doesn't follow the Met service. And as Harrison's noticing as well, summer's always hot. Oh, and thank you for the nice comments around my aunt. As I say, it was not unexpected. She was in her 90s. So, it'll be lovely to farewell her and join family there in Australia. And also, I suppose, to the extent that I can, represent my Maita family here in New Zealand with them all. But I'm going to have to go and recheck, actually, the exact flights, because I think the 100th episode, despite this saying Thursday, is actually next Tuesday. Anyway, I'll update it. I probably got the graphic wrong. Fourth Adams nailed it, I think, around the climate change question, if I can get that to work. Yeah. Simply Green, I love that comment. Yeah. As Tamsin is saying, it's just the facts. And Monkeybot's right, the weather derangement syndrome. And then Rosie's asking, why is the winter so cold? Look, I think it is just a lot of fear, and actually I probably should have hit on that. It is just trying to stoke fear around something which is relatively normal. And I've seen it even in some of my young ones that I engage with, that literally in winter when it's raining, they're talking about climate change. It's like, well, why would you talk about climate change? Well, it's raining. It's like, well, that's what happens. Anyway, it's just very, very frustrating. And then I saw this. Annie O'Brien is someone I worked with in Parliament. She's a commentator on X. I mean, she has a job now, but it's quite a frequent commentator. I just thought I'd put this here because it's a bit of a theme around media this morning, and I just thought she was 100% right in stating this. And it betrays, if you will. I'm just trying to think of my words carefully so that I'm more accurate rather than anything else. She points out that becoming a journalist is not to create positive change. And as she says, they just don't get it. Media is not there to decide what should be positive or negative, and we don't want them to create it. I just thought she nails it perfectly there. And I think it's a frustration that many of us have now with mainstream media and why the trust levels are plummeting. We don't want the media to tell us what is and is not good or bad. Just report the facts as best they can and let us decide. Because, again, this is part of that propaganda, for want of a better word. They're trying to push a particular narrative because they believe they're making a positive change. And so the media, I'm sad to say, and you guys know it, they take moral positions on a variety of issues. So all the ethical issues, from abortion to euthanasia, prostitution, drug use. In fact, there's articles at the moment that Bob was sending me this morning around polyamory, of all things, of how it's becoming more and more acceptable. Why? Amongst other reasons, it's a media narrative constantly driving what it believes to be positive change. When you think about the puberty blockers, gender issues, if you think about even politics in general, they love the left, the media love the left. They constantly attack the right. In fact, the next story will illustrate that, of how the media is so biased against Christopher Luxon. And yeah, Fourth Adam's right, it's becoming opinion journalism, which it is, and they interview themselves. That's another funny thing, if you know, the amount of time that these journalists literally are just interviewing themselves. It is quite ridiculous. And Food Dogs Trucking is saying they're narcissists. But it is a little bit of that, and it's, again, just immensely frustrating. But I just thought Annie nailed it. You're not the story, and we don't want you to manipulate. Just tell it what it is. But this is the mindset, and this is what they're telling particularly young journalists. Come and bring your positive change. Bring your views on climate change. Bring your views on the Treaty of Waitangi. Bring your political views, your gender views, your ethical views, and foist them on people. Use your power platform. So yeah, anyway, probably be belabouring it, but it is annoying. Which is, yeah. And good morning to others who are coming on in. I can see Dennis there. Lovely to have you along as well. Good morning. Speaking of media, and this is how they manipulate things. Thank you, by the way, for all the... right. I think this could be the comment of the morning, which I think is quite funny. I remember the sun doesn't heat the planet, cow farts do. I think that it's well said. And we got Jackie's right too, that is good. So anyway, this is just a quick example of how media manipulate things. This is all around the speculation of the political leadership in National. But this is the photo which Stuff has deliberately chosen to put up. This is just mischief making by the media. So Chris Luxon's made to look really odd, and of course Chris Bishop in behind him, because the speculation, of course, if you're following the political news at the moment, is that they're going to roll Luxon, and that Chris Bishop is doing the numbers, that he's looking to do so. I at this point actually don't believe that. I think this is just not mindless speculation. I think it's mischievous. It's not mindless. People know what they're doing. The usual commentators who are writing about this clearly have a dislike of some of the MPs in Parliament, and others they do like. And so we've seen this all before. Matthew Hooton's a good case in point. He's been a mischief maker politically for a long time, and those of us who've been around will know that the likes of him and other commentators usually try to use their influence in and through media to bring about change. In his case, he was working effectively for Todd Muller. God, I'm having a mind bank this morning. Was effectively working for him and writing negative columns about the existing leader of the National Party. So he was part of that coup, and here he is again stirring. So he's been one of the biggest ones at the moment. But this article just illustrates again how they just use words, in this case imagery, to generate mischief, to make the Prime Minister look stupid, and in this case to promote Chris Bishop. Now, side angle, of course, in the photo, which sort of makes the sense of a potential coup. He's behind the leader, what's going on. But it's just a mischievous photo, because as you can see from the title here, this is actually about removing regional councils. A bit dry, a little bit boring as a topic, but that's the photo they chose. So again, it's just mischief, classic media. Just it is what it is. That's what we... it's simply getting the photo they chose. Exactly right, but I suppose it's my very long belaboured point. Everything that you are being fed through mainstream media, from the words, the choice of topics, the photos, is often carefully curated. We also have this going out at the moment. I don't know if you have been picking up. If you're on X, you'll probably know about this. But X is now, you can look on each person's profile and work out where they are from. So I'm just going to grab a drink of coffee. There we go. So it's got this new feature So you can jump on to Bob McCoskey's X or Family First X, where you're probably watching this at the moment, and you can click in the bio section. You can see that it's Auckland based when the account was created. So it's actually really, really good for transparency. So personally, I think it's a good idea. But what it's uncovered is, no surprise to anyone, the myriad of fake accounts for various issues. So lots of fake accounts supporting, well, not fake accounts, accounts based out of other countries. So a good example, if I can find one, where is it? Here we go. So here's one of the profiles, just to give you an illustration of what we're talking about. But the point I'm wanting to get to is the media are obsessing with Trump and the Republicans and ignoring a whole lot of other, if you will, troll farms, be it Russian-based ones, whether it's those supporting like Hamas or attacking Israel. There are a myriad of groups or pages. They suspect they're groups that are actually facilitating this, but pages pretending to support a cause, but are based in a whole different country. So this is a case in point that supposedly the Ivanka Trump X page has been busily tweeting out a whole lot of bits of information, but as you can see, the account is based in Nigeria, of all places. So clearly it's not Ivanka Trump, and clearly actually not strictly an American supporter. So these are fake accounts, if you will, or at least pushing content but with a fake background. But what struck me, again, and why I'm putting that up here, and a bit of a theme this morning is around how media reports to you, is all the reporting that I've seen so far is all about Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. And again, it doesn't really matter what any of us think about MAGA per se, but you've got a media who are obsessing with a singular angle. So, here's a case. This is to do with Scotland. This Elsa Stewart is supposedly a professor, I think it says. No, a proud Scot, apologies. So small on the screen I can barely read it. Is masquerading as someone who's Scottish and is trying to promote not only living environmentally, support supposedly Scottish independence, and loving Islam. So this would be quite unusual for someone in Scotland, all three of those. But it turns out actually the account is based in the Netherlands, nowhere near Scotland. Well, I suppose it's somewhat near Scotland, more close than New Zealand. But you get the point. But the media aren't talking so much about these cases. They're not talking about all the pages promoting Hamas or other Islamic terrorists that are all around the world, but not actually in the likes of Palestine or the West Bank. No, they're only talking about these ones. They're only talking about the Trump derangement syndrome, or rather they're operating out of the Trump derangement syndrome. So look, it's again, it's a minor point, but you can see why people are being misled. And one of the issues we do know through the research is a lot of the younger people, all they do is read the headlines. And so the mischief in the media that puts headlines out like this would think, oh, there's a new feature on X, and all it's done is expose, in this case, Trump and the Republicans. They are the fraudsters, when in fact they're a fake Democrat accounts. As I say, a lot of the accounts that are attacking Israel or praising Hamas are not actually based in Gaza or the West Bank, but countries all around the world. And as I say, you've got this supposedly Scottish account that's been run out of the Netherlands. Again, there's a lot of quackery and fakery out there. So I just encourage you, if you are on X, go and click at the bio at the top, and you'll be able to get all that information. Have they changed their names? Where are they based? And so on. Now, there's going to be some errors. I know that, I do know, the Free Speech Union here in New Zealand, and I know the guys, they are New Zealand based. According to X, their account is based in the USA. Don't know exactly why that is, but there's going to be errors. This is not a perfect system. So anyway, I just thought I'd post that. In sadder news, look, keep the people of Nigeria in your prayers. Obviously, there's terrible things happening there. That the media, look, it's a difficult narrative at the moment. We definitely know Christians are being targeted. This Catholic bishop set out because I've forgotten the exact number. But it's quite large, and I do apologise that I've forgotten the number all of a sudden. It's one of those mornings. But a large number of kids were kidnapped from a Catholic school. But we know a number of Christian churches, priests, pastors have been targeted and killed. It's a bit of a mixture of Islamic groups and basically lawless tribes operating. The media are doing their best to try and conflate all and every crime, to try and hide away from the fact that actually there is a targeting of Christians. Let's be clear, non-Christians are being hurt as well. There's reprisals. We know of Muslims attacked as well, for example. But the media is doing its very, very best to put it all on an equal plane. What we do know, sadly, of Nigeria, as with other parts of Africa at the moment, that there are a range of Islamic insurgents that is spreading and destabilising the region and using fear and terror. And this is what's sadly happening and continuing to happen in Nigeria. In this case, the abduction, but in other cases, literally churches being shot up and the people killed and burned to the ground. So it's absolutely appalling. So just keep them in your prayers at the moment. So those were just some of the things that were on my mind this morning. And as Simply Green saying, yeah, it has been visible, but the satellites can pick up where these villages were and then been razed to the ground. And others are noting, we just got to be very careful of what we can and cannot trust in media. I think that's the key. And I know I keep coming back to that as sort of one of the big themes here in Solid Ground, is that we do need to just be very skeptical of all we hear and read, including, when I'm speaking, if you think, does that sound right or not? Question it. Not going to get things right all the time. I think we just need that questioning mindset. Tony's saying here that annoying gender ads keep popping up on his feed, and feels like they're leading promoting. Well, they are. Maybe I'll finish on this topic. When we looked at what happened with the puberty blockers announcement, and I talked about this on Tuesday, I think. Basically, initial media was very much the bare bones of what the press release from the government said. But in subsequent days, particularly the likes of Radio New Zealand, just ran one story after another attacking the government and promoting trans ideology. And I would argue actually promoting the abuse of children. It'd be wonderful because the tide will turn on all of this, guys. The absurdity of what they call gender affirming care, of trans ideology, of this gender activism, it will fade. It is just innately absurd that it will collapse in on itself. But sadly, it will have done enormous damage and is doing enormous damage to vulnerable children. Hopefully we all know this. Personally, I hope those doctors who are involved with this will be held to account. So not only will these practices stop, where we are chemicalizing children and eventually mutilating them, that those doctors involved will be held to account, that the justice system will hold them to account. And I'd love it too if we're able to hold to account the likes of Radio New Zealand, its editors and others for being accessories to this abuse. And we just have to call it that. It is abuse. It's happening right under our noses. It's been endorsed by many in media and by quacks, doctors who are making money off this and get to write their research papers all at the cost of little children. And it's atrocious that this is happening, and the falsities that it's based on. But you have a media that just continues to promote it. And the contrast is, as you know, we had 2 detransitioners speak at our forum this year. They've recorded videos. You can find those on the YouTube channel of Family First or on our webpage. Zara and Izzy, 2 amazing young women, courageous young women, because they have been through this trans journey, and then they detransitioned. They said, actually, this isn't for us. And they talk about their stories. Now, they're available to talk to the media. In fact, Bob and I are available to talk to the media. We do a lot of work, research, and advocacy in this space. But as you might anticipate and will know, the phone never rang. The journalists don't want to talk to people from the other side. And it doesn't just have to be Family First. You have people like Penny Marie from Let Kids Be Kids. You have people like Annie O'Brien and many others who speak into this space. But we are largely ignored. And I don't say that with any sort of sadness. It's just the reality of a biased media. And so they're being basically running their own stories to keep promoting, again, the abuse of children. And I keep saying, I just hope they get held to account, because they need to. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. I said, forget the fact that it says Thursday. It's next Tuesday will be the 100th episode, because this is the 99th. So it's quite exciting that we've reached that point. Reminder, of course, that you can always find Bob and my Substacks. This is where we write regularly. Paul is much more... Paul. Sorry, seeing some comments coming through. Bob is much more prolific, so he's got his Substack as well. This is a bit of an older one. But go to substack.com and look up my name or Bob's, and you'll find what we're writing on. This one that I've just done talks about how the politicians pour cold water on issues to sort of silence things, really. Tonight, 5 o'clock, join Bob and I. We'll be talking much more the particular New Zealand politics of the day, and quite a lot to discuss, everything from those leadership rumours to what seems to be some fracturing on policy lines between the likes of New Zealand First ACT and National, and also what's going on with Te Pāti Māori and Labour. So there's no shortage of things to talk about there. If you're a follower of RCR, jump over to, RCR, check out my interviews. One of my more recent ones is around foreign interference, talk with Nick Hahn. That's really interesting. Well, I think it is. And I see a lot of people asking about Pauline Hanson. I was going to actually briefly talk about that today, but I've run out of time. I'll probably pick up on that on Tuesday. But I will note with the Pauline Hanson situation, because here it is. Look, either this is a garment of choice, which those who support the burqa say, oh, no, it's just a choice that females make, or it's a garb of oppression, and it can't be, they're mutually exclusive, they can't operate simultaneously. So it's been fascinating to see all the people who normally say it's just a choice that women choose to wear this, screaming their heads off at Pauline Hanson. I just think it's quite sad and funny. But, Pauline likes a bit of controversy. It's not really the way I would go about things. I don't always appreciate her style or approach to issues, but I think it's highlighted the contradiction in a lot of people's thinking. As I say, a lot of people defend the burqa, which I see as just a terribly medieval way of oppressing women. It's just, imagine what it is like to be under one of those and what the world looks like through the mesh. You can't even see the world properly as we are at the moment. So I think that's an incredibly oppressive, anti-female garment, but of course those who support it always are saying, oh no, it's a choice, the women choose to wear this. But of course when Pauline Hanson in this case chose to, oh no, you can't do that. So it just shows the contradiction in all of them. But I'll probably talk more about that on Tuesday, because there's quite a number of layers to this. But guys, I may well see you at 5 o'clock tonight, as I say, if you want to join us on Political Playback. Otherwise, we'll see you next Tuesday on the 100th episode, and as always, great to have you here on Solid Ground.